Good evening and welcome to a special edition of NYFP. Today I'm here at the NASDAQ market site and I am joined by Tatu Ylönen, who is the CEO and founder of SSH Communication Security, as well as Rick West, who's the president of SSH. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, not a day goes by without a headline about cybersecurity breaches or cyber attacks, and so much of our personal information is out there on the internet. So could you give me an overview of some of the trends you're seeing out there?
Attackers are becoming more and more advanced, and we are seeing malware, like viruses, that are more and more advanced. It's professional. It's no longer school children. It's professionals.
And also, we hear about financial institutions and security breaches for banks, and that does raise alarm bells for many of us consumers out there. So, if you can tell me a little bit about some of your work with the banking institutions and what you're seeing right now.
Well, you know, the banking and financial services industry, banking, brokerage, insurance primarily, are some of the most highly regulated in the, especially in the United States market, but also in Europe. And so there are lots of regulations about controlling access, who has access to what data, securing that data. Our technology, our protocol, and our solutions are used across all different silos and stacks in the data center. So we're very ubiquitously deployed. So from our perspective, our goal is to help financial services institutions, who are usually the earliest adopters in information security technology, the ability to thwart some of these malware attacks, to be able to be proactive about their security architecture. So we're seeing financial services primarily as being the primary target, but also other highly regulated markets.
Definitely. We also hear about not just financial institutions, but organizations and nation states being attacked too. So it does appear as though security is very important across the board. And therefore, Tatu, I do want to ask you about the SSH protocol. You are the founder of it. So if you could give me a backstory about how it was created.
It all started when there was a password sniffing attack where somebody listened for internet traffic and stole passwords and usernames from the traffic. And several from my company were included. And that made me think about it and come up with a way to protect passwords on the internet. And it solved one of the most important security problems on the internet at that time. That's why SSH is so widely used today.
And I believe that risk assessment is very important for organizations. So I know that a discovery tool is also available now. Can you tell us about the latest update?
So, as people have been using SSH for machine-to-machine access, they have access tokens, sort of like passwords, stored on files and disks. And they may have maybe hundreds of thousands or sometimes even millions of these in a large organization. And the tool helps assess the risk associated with this, to expose the risks that there may be, so that people know whether they need to do something.
And while we're on the topic of risk assessment, for companies that may not be working with you right now, or enterprises that are concerned about security, what is your advice to them?
Well, security is very important. You, of course, need to look into security. You need to understand what risks you have and then make educated decisions which ones to address first. And I think access control, access to systems is one of the most important.
The trend over the last 3 years has been from identity management through access management, and we're one of the keys to the kingdom of access control, since SSH is primarily used to control access to critical data resources and critical systems, and also for systems to talk to each other. So for us to be able to raise the bar with respect to being able to discover, manage, and audit SSH use really benefits highly regulated organizations, because there are a lot of regulatory compliance requirements that mandate that they do this. So we're trying to help evolve the market as well as the protocol.
And speaking of the market, last but not least, before we wrap it up for today's interview, here at the NASDAQ, I talk about different technologies that are entering the marketplace. But in your specific sector of the industry, what are some trends you're seeing on the horizon? The
professionalism of attacks, criminals who are really experts, nation states, and the need to look at the whole system, not just what people do, but also what machines do, as machine-to-machine access and automation is more and more important.
Beyond financial services, banking, brokerage, insurance, healthcare, government, DoD, energy, pharmaceutical, retail, there's all chapter and verse around controlling access. And they're all evolving to the point where they're going to need to be able to do something about the SSH protocol specifically as they mature in their architecture. So our goal is to make sure that, that we've helped them along that path.
Well, Rick and Tatu, we only had a limited time, but thank you so much for insight into the industry, and thanks for telling me more about SSH today.
Thank you.
Thank you.